Greetings, everyone. How you doing? My name is Cassandra Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. This live, I promise, is going to be short. I said that yesterday. It ended up on here for 2.5 hours. So, yes, it's going to, you know what? Let me close my front door because everybody being loud all of a sudden. Let me close my front door. All right. So, again, hey, greetings, Shauna Michelle. Shauna Michelle, have you emailed me before? Email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Send me an email because I'm doing the book club tonight, and I don't know if I put you in the email tree. Email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Do that ASAP so I can send you the information for how to jump on the call tonight for the book club. Jay Hunter Lee, it's been a long time, brother. It's good to see you. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible because at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is in about an hour and a half, I am going to be leading our Wednesday night book club session on the book that we just finished reading, The Great, Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. We just finished reading that before the new year ended. And so now we are fully embarked on the deep dive into this book. So that is happening at 6 o'clock in an hour and a half. There's a couple of things. Greetings, balance. Send me an email ASAP. Send me an email at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. And if your email does not match your screen name, put balance in the subject header so I know exactly whose email it is. Send me an email so I can send you some information as soon as I'm done with this live. So anyway, one of the things that I want to talk about is an announcement. It's about the book club that's in an hour and a half. So I was on here yesterday and I tried to give y'all the very super condensed rundown of what's been happening over the last 5-6 days with my housing situation. And with respect to that, the announcement is I met my goal. I met the goal. So thank everybody so freaking much. So Lise Love, check your email. I sent you an email about the book club tonight. So thank you all so much. That shit was fucking extraordinary. It was extraordinary. And I do not want to make light of it and gloss over it quickly. I do have to, after the extremeness of it all, because after the book club tonight, I'm actually going to take a couple of days off everything just to process, because the last 5 days have been so insane and extraordinary. And I need time to process everything that's happened. Like as soon as I spent the last 48 hours trying to raise this money, this unbelievable amount of money, I went right into studying for the book club tonight. And I'd be neurotic and shit. So I'm thinking I'm just going to do a little cute little agenda for the book club tonight. And I ended up typing out 2.5 pages, three pages of shit for the book club tonight. So check your emails. If you've ever emailed me for any reason, a reading, a consult or whatever, check your email, because part of thanking everybody for helping me to reach my goal, for those that are interested, I sent emails out to people offering the book club, participation in the book club for free. And that book club, but it has to be first come, first serve. 3 people have paid for the book club, but it has to be first come, first serve because my Zoom only holds, I think, 25 people. I believe I have the one that only holds 25 people. So check your emails. I've sent you the link. I've sent you the agenda, and some additional stuff that is more like logistical stuff. So check your email, and thank you so much for helping me do that. In a couple of days, I'm going to sum up what has happened this week since we transitioned, since Pluto transitioned into Aquarius, right? It's a big deal. In the meantime, I am going to try to reach out to this guy. He did like a 3.5, probably 4 hour video on the significance of Pluto transitioning into Aquarius this past Saturday, which I talked about a little bit last night. And the piece that he did was really, really thorough. It covered 3,000 years of this particular alignment, Pluto entering into Aquarius, right? And which happens about every 225 years. He did an extraordinary breakdown, a historical breakdown of historical events that adequately speak to the power, potential, and tendencies that correspond with the archetypes of Pluto and Aquarius, right? And the shit is goddamn extraordinary. Okay? So extraordinary, child, my brain was hurting. You feel me? What I would like to do, because he, like most astrologers, their only frame of reference for historically significant events is still from a European Greco-Roman worldview. While they did this 3,000 year breakdown, there were some incidences that they pointed to as significant for this type of energy that was non-European. For example, in one Pluto Aquarius alignment. Greetings, Marie. Check your email. Have you ever emailed me for any reason? If you have, check your email. If you haven't, email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Marie Carly, if you have ever emailed me, and if not, email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. I'm gifting people the opportunity, if they're interested, to participate in tonight's book club discussion on the book that we just finished, Pure Lust. And you do not have to have the book, and you do not have to have read the book to benefit from participating in the book club. So email me so I can send you the details and the link to jump on that call tonight. Anyway, one of the significant events that he pointed to that is highly indicative of a Pluto Aquarius alignment conjunction, right, is the Haitian Revolution, right? But there was so much more. And what I prefaced by saying is, like, typically when you listen to any of these astrologers and they're talking about something historically significant, that can give us a glimpse of what the potential is for this coming astrological event. Typically, Europe is the center of this historical context that they always provide, right? And so for me, as soon as I started listening to this guy's thing, like I said, it was about four hours. So I've been listening to it off and on for the last 4 or 5 days. So for me, my default is automatically what was happening in the world of color during these significant periods of time. So I want to reach out to this guy who did the Pluto Aquarius event piece, and ask him about, like, using his material and then referencing it for a breakdown that I do of historically significant events of the same periods over this last 3,000 years, from the worldview of the non-white world, Asia, Africa, and so-called Latin America. So I'll keep y'all posted on that. I'm gonna email the dude within the next 2 or 3 days. If you're interested and you think you have the patience to watch the video that he and his partner did, I know 4 hours is a long ass investment, but when I tell you, it was worth every single second. This shit was extraordinary. The name of the YouTube channel is the Astrology Podcast. And the two men's names that were doing this astrological breakdown of this event, their names are Chris Brennan and Nick Dagan Best. If you want to listen to this episode, they have a podcast of the same name, the Astrology Podcast, and it's episode 432. So I will keep y'all posted on whether or not he will allow me to, kind of reference his work as I do a breakdown based on his research from the world of color. But yeah, he talked about like the American Revolution, the French Revolution, and the Haitian Revolution all happening during the period of the very last Pluto Aquarius conjunction, which was from 1777 to 1798. All three of those major permanently transformative revolutions occurred at the last time Pluto and Aquarius walked together. And here we are, starting this past Saturday, Pluto and Aquarius walking together again, which promises to be extraordinarily, permanently impactful. Anyway, so 4K Walks and Travels. Send me an email as soon as you can. 4K Walks and Travels. Send me an email as soon as you can at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. When you send me that email, put in the subject header 4K Walks and Travel. 4K Walks and Travel. So I know exactly who the email is coming from because there's something I want to send to you. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that because this I'm going to be, just so you know, that for a while, I am going to be talking about this event, Pluto entering into Aquarius. Okay. Because this is the year, like Pluto entered Aquarius on this past Saturday. Pluto will be in Aquarius until September 1st. So the whole year essentially is Pluto in Aquarius. It'll shift back into Capricorn for a month and a half and then permanently into Aquarius for 20 years. We need to know, we need to be up on game about what the potential is that we can wield from the power of this particular alignment, because historically it's always been our opposition that has wielded power from this 3,000 years of, y'all, when I tell you so extraordinary, I'm fucked up in the game up in here. You understand? I had to prevent myself from descending into a wormhole like I usually do. This shit is monumental. The founding of what we call the Christian church was what happened during a Pluto Aquarius period. The transition of pagan Rome to papal Rome happened in one of these Pluto Aquarius periods. What we know as rabbinical Judaistic practices happened during one of these periods. Yo, and on and on and on and on and on, because all those things that I just mentioned that sound like, inconsequential, we are still feeling the impact of every single one of these occurrences. There is not an occurrence that I'm going to read to you, if this dude lets me. There is not a single occurrence that I am going to read on this long ass list of shit that right now today we are not still feeling the impact of 3,000 years later. I'm telling you. And the only thing that has worked against us is we have not been up on an astrological game that allows us the opportunity to energetically, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, financially, economically, politically, and socially prepare for said events. This is what I'm going to be talking about a lot this year. So y'all might as well get ready and get comfortable. Every time I do a live, I'm probably going to spend 10 to 15 minutes just on this subject. What does Pluto and Aquarius mean for us? How can we prepare? How can we take advantage of the potential that this alignment is sure to offer if we are adequately prepared? You feel me? So That's all I'm going to say about that today. But look at my notes. This is just from today. Look at my notes. This is just from today. As I'm preparing for some other stuff that I have to be doing in an hour and 10 minutes. You feel me? So that's the other update. The book club, the Pluto entering Aquarius. What else was there? Oh, okay. There was something that I wanted. Oh, okay. So something else happened today. Right when I woke up, I just started scrolling on my social media just to get it out of the way because I knew I was going to have to be doing this stuff to prepare for the book club tonight. And there were a couple of things that came across my feed that I made a mental note of that I wanted to address, talk about, at least minimally, because eventually they're going to be something that I address kind of more deeply. One is about, I saw several posts today expressing outrage about the fact that the movie Barbie, what's her name, Margot, whatever her name is, and the director for the directors of the movie did not get nominations, but Ryan Gosling got a nomination, an Oscar nomination. And so the first few posts that I saw about it was expressing outrage and how this is so typical of patriarchy, or whatever. Then the last post I saw on it was that, they, in all of these posts of outrage, there's never any mention of the fact that there is a woman of color who was nominated for an Oscar from this movie. I found that interesting. I haven't watched the movie. I had no intention of watching the movie. But it reminded me of something. In the year 2016, in the year 2016, in the height of Donald Trump running, as a matter of fact, it was the year 2016 was an election year. In 2016, early in 2016, just like now, there was all of this discussion about boycotting the Oscars. Remember, Jada Pinkett launched a campaign, launched a hashtag called Oscars So White, because there were very minimal, if any, Black nominations, and there were pretty significant Black movies or movies with Black leads that were supposed to be up for, that were being considered for Oscars that year. None of those movies got recognized or got nominations. And so Jada Pinkett initiated this hashtag Oscars So White. This was an election year that this happened. Everybody, just like now, we're in an election year. Everybody was up in arms, and so many people, jumped on board. It started a cascade of boycotts because it wasn't just the Oscars. The Oscars was kind of the jump off of the whole succession of award ceremonies, the Academies, the Grammys, the BET Awards, the MTV Awards. There was a whole host of them where each one of these award ceremonies were like seriously snubbing Black artists. The biggest outrage came when these categories that had specifically been to highlight the contributions of Black people, that Black people had to fight like hell to even have recognized at these award ceremonies, were all taken by white artists. Best R&B artist, best new R&B artist, best new rapper, best album of the year, whatever. Snubs all over the place. White people were taking awards for categories that were specifically developed to acknowledge the contributions of Black artists, right? So everybody's up in arms about all these award shows. That year, I was approached. I've said this many times. I'm not going to go in deep into it, but this thing, waking up to this, all these Oscar complaints about, particularly the movie Barbie, instantly reminded me that we were in an election year. And when all the controversy started about the Oscars, and I was approached to organize, to lead the campaign to build the first annual Black Power Awards that happened in Atlanta. The purpose that award ceremony was the purpose of that award ceremony was not only to acknowledge the contributions of Africans or African descended people in these different categories that we had created, 19 categories, but it was also, and more importantly, it was to say that, okay, we cannot keep complaining on the terms that the white world sets. We can't keep continuing to beg for recognition in institutions that white people have created to uphold themselves, to solidify their place above the rest of us. That we have to begin to build institutions of dual and contending power, and the Black Power Awards has to be that institution. So we hit the ground running in January of 2016 to build this award ceremony, which was extraordinary. And so even before all of this happened, this past year, especially the last 2 or 3 months, I've been talking to you about the institutions of dual and contending power. What are the institutions of dual and contending power? The institutions of dual and contending power that have the potential to create an equal and opposite response to that which we say we do not want to see exist anymore on this planet. You feel what I'm saying? What are these institutions of dual and contending power? What do they look like? How do we bring them into fruition? What does this work look like? And how can we initiate that shit this year, right? And so today my head is reeling because I'm like, damn, the Black Power Awards just had so much radical potential. We need something on par with that, but something that is even that reverberates out even further than that. The Black Power Awards had its day. It was spectacular. It surpassed everything we wanted to do. But unfortunately, because of patriarchy, if you want to be honest about it, and whatever, I won't even get into the details of it, but we always are fucking thrust backwards because of the conduct, the behavior of the lack of integrity of a singular individual who sabotages everything that we attempt to build, right? And so now, all these years later, it's 2024, 8 years later. It's 2024. Again, we're in an election year. Again, we're in the first month of an election year. And I wake up this morning to this Oscars controversy. And that was the first thing I thought about, was we were on the precipice of really establishing a permanent institution of dual and contending power that was sabotaged by one individual, literally one individual, right? What does that mean? What are the lessons that we need to learn from that? Well, I've been talking to y'all about that for 4 years. Women have to lead. That's the first thing. Women have to lead, and men have a responsibility to support, defend, and protect the institutions that women create. That's it. That's the only way forward, period. If you give a damn about the future as a man, if you give a damn about what is happening in the world in any single area, this is the only way forward. Now, I'm not going to do a whole long dissertation like I did last night on why I have come to this conclusion, but it ain't rocket science. It is not rocket science. Patriarchy has an origin, and the origin of patriarchy started with the assault on women's bodies. That's it. That's the start. That's the start. It was the inherent envy of power that women innately held. That's the start. It is the turning on the image of the mother as personified in mothers on earth by their sons. That's the start. And if that is the start of patriarchy, it is the antidote to the damage done by patriarchy. That's it. It ain't rocket science. It ain't nothing deep and philosophical and complicated that I'm talking about. It ain't up for debate or discussion. It is what it is. And so, if that's the case, what is the institution that we're going to build this year that is on par with? Because see, even when you talk about the Oscars or the Grammys or the Academies, we just left a year where damn near for the whole year, writers and the like had been writers and actors and all musicians, everybody boycotting this institution known as Hollywood for its notorious and perpetual exploitation of the people that make it what it is and sustains its very existence, child. These people sustain its existence You understand? And so there are so, and plus Hollywood, man, is this peculiar monstrosity because it really is the epicenter. It is the heart of this monstrosity that we call the state. Because Hollywood produces within the imagination of everybody on the planet, everybody on earth knows what Hollywood is, knows what it does, right? It is the heart of this monstrosity that we call the state because it attacks the hearts of individuals, feelings, and so on, to manipulate the consciousness, the understanding, the conscious and subconscious mind and behavior of humans. It does that through pulling at the heartstrings. You see what I'm saying? And it's done that for 110 years is what it's done. And so, you know, we have to be having serious discussions, man, about what dual and contending power looks like in reality. What the equal and opposite response to oppression must be, right? We cannot keep, quote, struggling on the terms set by our opposition. We can't keep fighting on the terms set by the opposition. That's not equal and opposite reaction or response. We can't keep moving and navigating, contorting, and the like based on the terms set by someone who has set every term for the expressed and sole purpose of maintaining your fucking oppression. We can't, man. We'll never win that way. So what is it? Again, that institutions and dual of contending power have to look like that always provide and produce an equal and opposite response to what it is we say we never want to see exist in humanity again. This is it. And so this is what I'm dealing with daily, baby. Please believe me, I am not preaching. This shit plagues me every day. What is it? The institution that we need to build. How do we corral enough people, at least nominally on the same page, that we can execute such a jack move? You understand? Because it ain't going to be me as, quote, the temple of evolutionary emergence and the few people that are tapped in to what it is I'm saying. Like, even if it has to be a grand collaboration, right? A grand, you know, what do they call it? Fuck. I can't even think of the word. Y'all know I'm always struggling with words these days. But a grand collaboration of many organizations, of many groups, of many individuals who may coalition, a grand coalition, right? Of people who they don't have to believe everything I believe. You know, establishing at least a foundation of ideas of tenets of what do you call it? Points of unity. We ain't got to agree on everything. Here are 10, 12 points of unity. And if you can get on board with these 12 points of unity, let's get on board based on these 12 points of unity and set this shit off. This is what we're going to build. This is the program, the project, the event, whatever it is that we are going to come together to build, while still maintaining our own independent organizational autonomy. You feel me? This is what we're going to build. Now, I done told y'all, I done put out ideas of things that I'm still like trying to understand conceptually how we can execute. Like I keep telling y'all, you know, if I'm telling y'all last night that in my estimation, the thing that plagues the whole planet is the unholy trinity known as Judaism, Roman Catholicism / Christianity, and Islam. That's my position. I am unwielding and unwavering in that position. That ain't no shit you're gonna win me away from. If this is my position, about what is controlling, dominating the movements of everybody on earth, whether they're Jewish practitioners, Judaistic practitioners, Christians, or Roman Catholics, or Islam, or not. Those three institutions are this freaking monster with tentacles that has infected everything on earth. Everything. This freaking triple-headed monster is also the thing that dictates everything that we know and understand as the state. So I be pissed off regularly when I hear hardcore, socialists, Marxist Leninists, Maoists and shit talking about the state and why they don't get involved in discussions about religion and spirituality, because spirituality or religion is the opiate of the masses, and that's it. They done with it. Religion in general. Well, religion overall, spirituality as a part of that, because New Age religion is not apart from this mechanism. But religion as an institution is the operative of the state. The state is an instrument through which religious organizations, institutions wield the power. It's the instrument. They're the powerful, and the instrument through which they wield that power are governments, the state, armies, militaries, and the like, economic institutions of exploitation, educational systems of exploitation, medical institutions of exploitation. All of that shit is within the possession of this triple-headed monstrosity called Abrahamic religions: Judaism, Islam, and Roman Catholicism / Christianity. I'm just telling you what it is. Now, that may mean that there are some people that will not be willing to work in a coalition with me. You understand? But those of you who can get on board in some way, you don't have to believe that. You don't have to believe that the church is the head of this wicked institution. You don't have to believe that. Like I said, we can come together and develop these points of unity that everybody can agree on. They don't have to be religious points of unity. We want to change the world. We want to end human suffering. We want to destroy the impact of the state on the lives of 8 billion people on this planet. You feel me? We want to end, a world where excess and profit is the God through which the many worship. That has had its horrible impact on the environment, on the ozone layer, on the ocean, on the trees, on women, on children, on others. Every ism wrong on the planet Earth has its origin in this oppressive institution called the state. If we can just get on board with that, you don't have to believe in the goddess. You feel me? You don't have to believe that this institution, Abrahamic religions, is, the invisible beast that governs us all. You don't have to believe none of that. You want to see the world made well? Let's create points of unity that are in alignment with seeing the world made well and see what we can produce. Now, I mentioned the unholy trinity for a reason, because for me, the unholy trinity presents to us some inkling of what we have to do that is contentious. I said dual and contending power. What is contentious? I'm talking all the time about how America right now, there ain't no shortage. Oh my God, there ain't no shortage of tabernacles and stadiums and temples and churches and that are having revivals, because they see what's happening in the world today as the sure signs of the coming of the Lord in the sky to rescue them from the coming evil, and all of that shit. You feel me? They are reinvigorating, because let me tell you what happened. Under COVID, there were too many statistics that talked about the radical decline of people's belief who identify themselves as Christian. Radical decline of people who consider themselves Christian during COVID, not just church participation. People who say, I'm a Christian. That number has declined. You feel me? But now all we got to have are these freaking orchestrations of war that reinvigorate people to go back to the church, to go back to this institution, which in their mind has offered them the only thing that even remotely looks like a solution, even if it's just an afterlife or extraterrestrial solution. Some motherfucker come out the sky, scoop everybody up that believed in him, you know what I'm saying, to rescue them from some dystopian whatever the fuck, right? And so these revivals, you know, I'm gonna tell you some things. I am gonna go tell you some things, and then I'll make it quick. Some of the things that I was talking to you earlier about that these guys mentioned as a consequence, or as a what do you call it? An echo of things past that can potentially show up again this period when Pluto meets Aquarius. These echo events that can happen. One of the things was, there was a period where he talks about the Inquisition and the witch trials, right? And I've been telling y'all for 6, 7, 8 months, y'all need to be crystal clear about what you are witnessing. These motherfuckers are preparing us to accept this clamp down that's coming down, particularly targeting women under the guise of being witches. And here it is, just a few months later, a year later, that I've been saying this. They are prepping people to not only accept, but fully enthusiastically participate in aggressions levied against women. That shit is real and it's coming down the pike. You understand? Well, damn, I'm listening to this guy's thing on the Pluto Aquarius return, and it's like several of these Pluto Aquarius conjunctions directly impacted the lives of women. Several of them. You feel me? And so, here we are in this period that I told you a couple of weeks ago, and heard another astrologer saying that this event that just happened last Saturday was an echo of an event that happened in the 12th century that kicked off the Inquisition. Here we are, echoes of these past events. You feel what I'm saying? These aren't the only echoes, but this is the one I'm talking about now. And if that is the case, one, nobody, the primary institution responsible, but not the only institution responsible, it wasn't just the Roman Catholic Church that participated in the Inquisition and the witch trials. Protestants did too, en masse. So there is no institution to date, no singular entity, no institution, no government, no monarchy. No one has had to pay for 500 plus years of Inquisition, of attacks, assaults on women in Europe, but not just Europe. Contrary to popular belief, the Inquisition spilled out of Europe into the, quote, melanated world, because the Inquisition was still in full effect during the age of the age of discovery. In full effect. The office of the Holy Inquisition in Mexico didn't officially end until the late 1800s. I didn't know that shit. I didn't even know there was an official office of the Inquisition in Mexico. All over South America, there was an official office of the Holy Inquisition. The Inquisition, and it's not to make light of the impact of the Inquisition in Europe. It is not. Because the Inquisition decimated hundreds of thousands of human beings, primarily women. Primarily earth-worshiping, communal, goddess-worshiping women. So it is not to make light of that. It is to say this disconnect, this chasm that we've always, just had in our minds, this disconnect between the suffering of Europeans at the hand of the Roman Catholic Church and the suffering of the rest of us is disconnected, is separate, and it's not. Yes, it was the descendants of and the victims of the Inquisition that rescued themselves from the Inquisition by participating in its impact in the rest of the new, quote, new world, right? But we can't, these things are not separate. And here we are, hundreds of years later. You understand? Witnessing in real time a reemergence, an echo of these things that this energetic potential can produce if we are not positioned to take advantage of it on our behalf, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is, nobody in mass. We're all individual, quote, witches scattered around the world doing our rituals and meditation in our house by ourselves. Or we're in groups of a couple of women here and there doing rituals in our house or in the woods or in somebody's backyard by ourselves. That's nice. But that is not equal and opposite. That's not equal and opposing action. Little sections, little cubicles of us scattered the fuck all over the place. And I'm telling you, the church in this country in particular is pulling a whole ass jack move that we have not even begun to stage opposition to. We haven't even begun. Where are the goddamn, I say this over and over and over again, but for those of you who do not know me, have never tuned into my shit, where are the witches' revivals? Where is the conglomerate? Where is what y'all call that shit in DC, where you have like an embassy? You know what I'm saying? Where is the embassy of the collective of witches that not only is staging opposition to these institutions, but is charging genocidal megalomania on the whole of human beings for the last 500 years, to whom no one has paid? No one. The Roman Catholic Church was built on the institution. Its wealth came from the Inquisition. Before these motherfuckers ever stepped foot off the continent of Europe, the church had already amassed an enormous fortune off the Inquisition, off the theft of land and resources of men, women, and children they had been massacring for some 500 goddamn years before they ever even set eyes on a so-called infidel. You understand? The wealth that we observe in the Roman Catholic Church, held hostage in the Roman Catholic Church, it does not just have a foundation on Asia, Africa, and Latin America. I'm telling y'all don't want to hear that and not understand why. Because we are invested in our narratives. This us against them narratives. I understand why that narrative exists. White people have dues to pay. They have participated. But there is a basis. There's a background. 500 motherfucking years of terror. We act as if what happened to, y'all do not want to hear this. I know y'all don't. But we act as if what happened to enslaved African people in the Americas and what happened to Native people in the Americas was some new and weird oddity that just sprang from the malignant imaginations of white people, because somehow they just inherently malignant and flawed. We act as if lynchings of African people in the United States was a new phenomenon peculiarly reserved for us. That's what we act like. We act like the mutilation of the bodies of indigenous people was some new gruesome event that was peculiarly levied upon the bodies of indigenous people. We believe that. We act like that. There is a reason our opposition does not wants us to be completely repulsed by the idea of learning true European history, because we would see the sameness in our suffering. European men, women, and children watched for 500 years while their elder women, while their mothers, their sisters, their daughters, their aunties endured the most gruesome types of violence and mutilation, suffering and condemnation. Why? Primarily for the gift of healing, for the knowledge of the earth and the healing products she produces. Primarily. There are some statistics that say the great majority of women accused as witches during the height of the Inquisition were midwives. And living and enduring and watching that kind of suffering where it permeates every single second of, quote, daily life, will produce monsters. That kind. It's like they were watching in real time what we watch on TV every day. Numerous murders every day, numerous rapes every day, numerous suffering every day, whether it's movies or whether it's real life news on TV. Every day, this is your reality, that all somebody has to do is have a grudge against you, is want your husband or want your wife, is be mad because you own more than they do or you have more than they do. You understand? Any kind of grudge. To be so fearful that to color out the lines even slightly could have the whole power of the state and the church at your door, stealing everything you own while at the same time wrapping a rope around your neck or setting your body on fire or tying stones to your feet and dropping you in water or stoning you to death or torturing you for months before killing you. We have to take all the covers off, no matter how uncomfortable they are. White people and their behavior in the world for the last 400 years is not isolated from their lived experience from the previous 400 or 500 years. The church has created every monster that exists on earth. That is my goddamn position. Every narcissist, every serial killer, every rapist, every kidnapper, every cult leader, every monster in mythology, every monster in a horror movie. Every monster that exists has as its ancestor, not even its ancestor, as its patriarch, as its father, if you will. Every monster that exists on earth, whether in real life or imagined, is the creation of these Abrahamic religions. Everyone. Name one, and I'm gonna tell you how it is directly or indirectly tied to the church, to Judaism, or to Islam. Every horror. As a matter of fact, one of the events that happened during this Pluto Aquarian thing was the first concept of hell was written by Dante during a Pluto Aquarius meeting. And that book, for the first time, that imagined what hell would be and look like, became a great weapon for the Roman Catholic Church. Hell conceptualized for the first time in human history, specifically to become a weapon used to force people into self-policing. Because that's the only reason hell exists. That's the only reason Satan exists, is to give us a perpetual enemy to be mortally fearful of, to force us to self-police, to do things that our spirit inherently would not do. You understand? So, what is the institution of dual and contending power that will yield an opposing and equal response to the madness that we exist in right now, to the dystopian nightmare that we currently exist in? What is it? Where is the embassy for the embassy for the global empire of magic workers? That way we cast a wide net. Some people don't like to be called a witch. That's fine. No shade. You feel me? You still work magic. Whatever your version of magic is, cool. Can you get down with these points of unity so that for once and for all, we can contend with this bitch? Because we ain't contending with the vote. Boo. We are not contending by writing to our legislatures. Boo. We are not contending using and submitting to the rules set by those who oppress us. So now what conclusion are we going to come to in this most radical period in human history that promises, that guarantees to change the world forever? You understand? So what the closing statement that one of these guys made is that the year 2025, and the other guy said 2023, either one is significant. That the year 2023 or 2025, they're significant. I'd say that whole period, 2023 to 2025, because it is when Pluto finally makes her transition into Aquarius and then finally ingresses hard into Aquarius before going into Aquarius for this next 20 years. So we'll say both from 2023 to 2025. He said 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, people will look back at 2023 to 2025 as the beginning, as the official beginning of the 21st century. That is how impactful this period is that we are in. That I've been telling y'all for 4 motherfucking years. We better be ready. We can't keep complaining. What do we want to see made real? How do we execute that shit in real time? You feel me? So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Now y'all know I could go on, but I have to take a little breather and drink something before the book club in 30 minutes. But let me read some of these comments. First time I'm catching your live. Java Watson, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are interested, send me an email at releaseheartcenter at gmail.com. Releaseheart@gmail.com. Chromatic, we will conspire together. I love you for it. Come on in. Somebody been paying attention. If you are interested, I am doing the book club for free tonight as a thank you for everyone who showed up for me over the last 48 hours. So anybody can log on. It's first come, first serve, because I think my Zoom only has the capacity to host 25 people. But send me an email and I will send you the information right away at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. So Java Watson, who else jumped on after the fact? Chloe Dior, Chromatic Ribbon, everybody tuning in from Instagram. Alex died yesterday. I sent you an email already, so check your email if you are interested. In 30 minutes at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, I will be facilitating the book club on the book we just finished reading called Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. If you do not have the book, that is okay. You don't have to have the book to participate in the book club. That is why I read the whole book on YouTube, so you can follow along. And even if you haven't listened to any of the YouTube videos yet, you can still participate and learn something from this book club. Okay? Last book club we did, which was 2 weeks ago, that shit was out of sight. Like, we had to force ourselves off. It was supposed to be 2 hours. We was on that joint for 4. We ain't going to be on there for 4 tonight. But because I have condensed, I have an agenda that is super specific with times next to it and everything. We ain't going to deviate from the process too hard today. So if you want to participate, that's at 6 p.m. Just send me an email, put book club in the subject header, so I can know to send you the details for how to join us on that Zoom today. So that's all I got. Thank you again, 1,000 times. Thank you for those who participated, heeded the call, and helped me resolve a pretty serious issue over the last 48 hours. My name is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates. I am the founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Maybe I'd like to take 2 days off, but I'll still, if I don't see you tomorrow, I'm definitely going to be dropping a succession of video shorts tomorrow. So if I don't do a live tomorrow, which I probably will anyway, but if I don't, just be looking out for the shorts that I'm going to post tomorrow. All right. That's it. Y'all have a good night. Peace.